brought some coffee.
Smoky Club. Right?
No. Not Smoky Club.
Oh, yeah.
You can't smoke in there anymore.
That's right.
Although everybody was vaping out on the patio, I noticed.
Yeah. It's cool how it opens up and you can people just be out there and it's so still together, but not so separated.
They're vaping or being froggy.
Little of both. Definitely being froggy.
I missed them freaking. These one girls just went really.
You're gonna have to bring that mic up a little bit, Av.
Oh no, sorry.
Pretty quiet as it is. So
yeah. I didn't know we started. But
Episode 24.
We got D-Train and Av in with us today.
Yay.
Hi guys.
Hello.
That's scary.
Queensryche today. Av's favorite band?
Yeah, it's my
How
favorite.
did they become your favorite band? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
So Dad, just like any music I like, Dad was like showing me and stuff. And like, I remember at the beginning, I just like when I was really young and stuff, he just was showing me like either one-off songs or stuff of bands. And we ended up like listening to like whole albums. And so like the first album you showed me was like The Warning and stuff. And it's like, back then, like I was really into like Dungeons and Dragons, and like all the songs felt like they really like went with that. And I'm like, this is awesome.
That's a good point.
And stuff. And like one of the songs he really liked was like Roads to Madness. And he was talking about how he like listened to it as a kid and like how it like resonated with him, and it like I don't know, I connected with that because like my favorite song on there is like No Sanctuary and stuff, so I kind of liked that and everything.
Cool.
It's cool.
I love that. Yeah, that's a great record, I think.
So,
I never really connected with Queensryche.
They're on that progressive.
Yeah, I mean,
metal type.
killer musicians, killer singer, killer musicians.
Geoff,
I think I was just always into the sloppier shit.
Into the what's that?
The sloppier stuff, like that first Faster Pussycat record.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely loved a lot of stuff. But I think with Queensryche, with me, I was right at that age. I was listening to The Warning a lot just before I moved to Hollywood. Yeah. So it was kind of a point in time in my life and age, where you're kind of a little bit on the outs with your parents and, kind of that transition between being a kid and wanting to do your own thing, grow up. And so, I don't know. I just remember there was a range of emotions when I listened to that album because, that particular time in your life and what you're going through, at that age particularly. So
did you think
The Warning came out in what year?
It was 84.
84.
Yeah. I always thought they had a kind of an ominous vibe too. They created atmosphere, especially with this record. You know what I mean? Like there's this kind of thing, and I always liked that. Places.
Yeah. A lot of I don't know if mood's the right word for it, but a lot of real different moods and
like NM156. That's cool.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I really like that song. You didn't really like that song that much, though.
Yeah, not my favorite on the album, but I mean, it's still one I can listen to pretty much all the way through, and just enjoy the whole thing. So,
yeah, totally. Yeah, did you get into the EP? Their first one?
Yeah, that one's really cool because what's on there? There's like The Lady Wore Black. You got Queen of the Reich,
Night Rider, Blinded. Yeah, that was 1982. That was I think that was the first one I got. But it was because at that time it was chasing bands. New heavy metal was relatively new. All the bands coming out, more guys were doing it.
Yeah.
So I was always chasing, finding new things. And this was one of them.
Yeah.
Did you get pretty into these guys, Todd?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. I saw them open. They opened for Kiss, I believe, for the Warning tour. Yeah. And those were the days of getting the T-shirts and taking them to high school. And you know what I mean?
I remember.
Yeah, I was at the show.
I listened to a podcast, Dean Del Rey's podcast, a while back, and he had Jeff Tate on. And it was interesting because Jeff Tate's kind of chronicling kind of a history of his time with Queensryche, right? And he's talking about their first big tour was with Dio.
Yeah.
And it was talking about the opening night of the tour, and Dio kind of hosted this big banquet for all the bands and crew members.
Oh, whoa.
And had catered in this big Indian meal. And they're like, wow, so this is what it's like to be on a big tour. They're, just really getting treated wonderfully by Dio and his crew. And they went on to the next band, and it's like, oh, it's not like that.
And you hear that too, right? From Wendy Dio and Dio.
Yeah.
They were always super nice to every band.
Yeah.
They tried to help all the bands out. So,
Yeah.
that's
cool.
Yeah. Which always makes you love Dio a little bit more.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you hear about a lot of these headliners kind of have an ego and being divas.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a pretty cool story.
Got treated right, and then it was all downhill from there.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked Rage for Order, too. That was a really cool record.
I did, too. Way different. I mean, you couldn't have gone almost...
futuristic vibe to it.
Yeah, yeah.
I Dream in Infrared, you know, just weird.
Oh, yeah.
They were the guys that were kind of doing the sci-fi stuff. Everybody was pretty much, you know, rock and roll, you know, down and dirty. These guys were a little bit over to the sci-fi and telling stories and stuff like that, which obviously makes sense leading up to Mindcrime, which is kind of like a concept record.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Rage, man.
It was really cool. I like a lot of the way I have my list set out. Like I had like 6 favorite albums. Like all 100% loved the songs and everything. So putting them in order was hard. But then I was like doing like the personal connections I had with them and what was stronger than what. But I remember for Rage for Order, this was back when I would just collect the CDs and stuff with my dad, and it was when we were in Indiana, and they had this restaurant. They used to have it in our town called Oinkadoodle Moo, and it had like the best ribs, but it closed.
What was it called?
Oinkadoodle Moo.
Okay, all right.
It was really weird, but
It's a cool name because you want to go, because you want to say the name.
Yeah.
It
it was fun, and they ended up closing it down because just wasn't popular enough. But they have one in Dayton, Ohio, which isn't far from us, and Dad's like, oh, they also have like an FYE at the mall. Like, we'll just go and look for some stuff there. So we got our ribs, we went there, and they ended up having Rage for Order, like the CD. And I'm like, this is awesome. Like, let's get it. And so we did. And so like the whole drive home, we're just listening to it. I'm just rocking out. Like, this is so great. And it was such a fun memory. And all the songs really kill it. Their Walk in the Shadows, like, is awesome. There was before Queensryche, they were like Myth, or I don't know who was all in the band, but it was like called Myth and everything.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
Yeah, because they end up making out this like album called The Days Before Empire, and it has a bunch of demos from what is it from? Oh, it's from Warning. So a bunch of the songs are from Warning and everything of demos. One of them's called Prophecy, like another song they had, and then 2 of them were by Myth, like when they were Myth and everything, and one of them was Walk in the Shadows, but it's so different than this Walk in the Shadows, and it's really cool.
I gotta look this stuff up. I haven't heard it.
They had a different singer before Jeff Tate when they were Myth, right?
I think so.
He talked about when he came in. I think it was when they were doing the EP, and they're like, "Hey, will you sing on this EP for us?" And
yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, Myth right here. I'd never even noticed that before. I'm gonna have to go find those demos.
I didn't know until I was like looking through all this. I'm like, this is awesome. So.
That is cool. And then
and isn't getting back to Rage for Order, isn't that song Gonna Get Next to You a cover song?
It is, isn't it?
I think it is. I think it's like the only cover they've done in there.
I think it might be.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to find out who originally did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were other like? What would be here? Do you have like a top 5? You said 6 or?
Yeah, I guess it's top 6. Technically 2 of them would be like at the same level because it was hard to pick between those 2. But first one's definitely Operation Mindcrime.
Oh, that's number 1.
Number 1 for sure. Just because like the cohesiveness of how the songs fall into each other, the vocals on it. Then he's got like what song is it? I think it's like Sweet Sister Mary and everything, where he's got like all the backup vocals, and that stuff's cool.
Yeah, that is.
And then like his duets and stuff, and just the whole story. And it's all really clear and really cool and stuff, and it's just one of my favorites. But that one's first, then Warning, because that tie-in, and Dad showing it to me first, and then Rage for Order. American Soldier was really cool because they ended up clipping in like interviews with people that were in different wars at the beginning of the songs. And just his vocals on that, and like the whole atmosphere and stuff, and like all the sound effects. It was really interesting.
But Tate was still in the band at that point, right?
Yeah, the split was like around 2013, 2014.
I haven't heard that record.
Is that about the same time he spit in Scott Rockenfield's face on stage?
That's one of the controversies. So, oh man,
that's a lot of time spent in Boston touring.
Yeah, exactly.
Lucky it was only spit at that point. Huh? I think they got a little more physical later. But.
Yeah, and I think he was threatening to stab the one guitar player, Michael Wilton, or some shit.
Jeez.
Stab.
Oh my word!
Yeah, it got pretty ugly towards the end.
Even Skid Row didn't get there, right?
No, I don't think so.
Not that they talked about anyway.
Not that we know.
Yeah, it sounded like it got pretty ugly. So
I thought you were going to say more than that. That's why I handed you the mic.
Oh, so it's written by Dal Bello. Gonna get close to you. Now, I don't know who that is.
Exactly.
She is a accomplished Canadian performer.
Oh, wow.
Soul funk singer. So I'm not familiar with her at all, but that's who
Oh, check out those brows.
couple of centipedes.
Drew them on a little high, it looks like.
You know what?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with her at all.
Oof.
Got a little Debbie Harry thing going on there. But yeah, that's the original writer.
Talk
So I
about
didn't know.
combing your hair with a turd.
Cool.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, you guys don't collect vinyl, do you?
No.
They're reissuing Operation Mindcrime. It's coming out in a couple of weeks.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, because it's been kind of hard and expensive to get for a while. So
Yeah. No, that'd be cool. I have no collection at all of vinyl at this point, so but who knows? Maybe that'd be cool. Since they are starting to reissue a lot of stuff,
yeah,
that'd be pretty.
I missed that tour, man. I went to Metallica Justice for All, but I got there late, and Queensryche was just bowing as I went around the arena. So, but I heard it was one of the most amazing tours for them and everybody else that saw it. They were really blown away by that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then just like the last two of like top favorites were The Verdict and Frequency Unknown. And this is like when the split happened. They hadn't fought. They were kind of in the middle of fighting for the name. So like The Verdict was by like Queensryche, everybody but Jeff Tate.
Mm-hmm.
And then Frequency Unknown was just by Jeff Tate and whoever he gathered together.
So the verdict was that they had the new guy in singing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And back then, and everything, like, they sound so close alike and everything, it's hard to really know the difference. Like, when I was looking it up, I had to, like, look it up because they sound so close. But there's, like, points where you can hear the difference between Todd Latour and Jeff Tate, so.
Yeah, I think he kind of knew shit was ending because I do remember reading at that time when there was a lot of friction. The guys minus Tate, they did a show in Seattle under the name... is it Rising West? Is that a Queensryche song?
They ended up changing the name because it was like all of their like initials or something for Rising West. Or, that's what it was. Yeah,
but they were doing all this old Queensryche material.
Oh wow!
And I guess he came in and was just nailing it.
Jeez.
Oh, it was Todd Latour.
Yeah, so it's like, I think I see what's happening here. Testing the waters, right?
Yeah, seems good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a pretty good new solo record that just came out.
Yeah.
Todd Latour, yeah. It's good heavy riffs and everything. Heavier than Queensryche.
Yeah.
Dang.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, so he came in. Which album did he first sing on?
I believe it was probably The Verdict.
Oh, The Verdict. So just that's the only one.
Because like the three that they did with Todd Latour is The Verdict, and then I believe it's either Conditioned Human or Queensryche next. They like did another Queensryche album with him.
So
I don't think because I kind of checked out after Empire. So I kind of, but I remember them doing Operation Mindcrime 2. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Dio came in and did some vocals.
Yeah, he did a duet with him on, I think it's The Chase. That's like one of my favorite songs off there.
Huh. How was that record?
When we first got it, I absolutely hated it because it wasn't Operation Mindcrime. It wasn't just like it, and so, seeing that, I just was disappointed. But when I was listening to these all again, I'm like, this is actually pretty good. That's actually my next one after those top.
I'd be curious to hear it just kind of based, because you think about Operation Mindcrime, probably a lot of money and time spent in production.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
And they probably didn't have the same budget for
Yeah.
Mindcrime 2, right?
Right.
So it's probably hard to come in because you've got an expectation set, right?
Yeah.
Operation, the original, and it was probably hard to
match it.
Probably impossible.
Yeah.
To match it, right?
So.
Yeah, they had so much momentum built up, and then they toured, and had everybody just talking about it.
Yeah.
A lot of expectations.
Well, back to the original Operation Mindcrime. I think Vin told me this story. I hope I got it right. So,
if you don't, we throw a lot of misinformation out. So
yeah, I am too. Basically, I think, I don't know if it was that maybe around the same time. We'd have to maybe look that up. But when Iron Maiden did Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, because it's a concept record as well.
Yeah.
And I think Vin told me that I don't know if it was Steve Harris or Bruce Dickinson, but they were listening to Operation Mindcrime in their car, and they had to pull over, and they're like, "This is the album we should have written."
Oh, really?
It was something along those lines, and one of them, like, it was just they thought it was so good.
Yeah, dude, same year.
Same year, yeah. Okay.
88.
So that, yeah, might have to kind of confirm exactly how the story went down, but
Yeah.
they just were amazed at that album. So
Wow.
Yeah, because I mean, as far as mainstream, I don't remember any of the concept type records other than like it was like compared to like Pink Floyd and stuff like that, you know,
Right,
that type
right.
idea. Yeah. So, Vin came in on Seventh Son. Isn't that when he first discovered Maiden? Is that right? You got one of your cassettes or something?
I didn't have.
I think Darren had it.
Was it Darren?
Yeah, I think my brother Darren had it. Cause,
I never got that big into Maiden. I think I had. What was the one with the Egyptian
Power Slave?
I had Power Slave. I think that's the only Maiden I had.
Yeah.
Maybe I got Somewhere in Time. I think on vinyl even.
Did you?
But I don't know where it is.
Gone.
Yeah.
In one of the
Vin
crates.
probably has that stuff.
I never saw it.
I think most of your records were down there.
Yeah. I didn't see anything.
This one, right? Yeah. Which is fine. I mean, I'm not saying he really did that, but
No.
I'd probably do it if the roles were reversed.
Oh, yeah. Self-titled faster. Yeah,
It's kind of like our oldest brother, HJ. I remember one year for Christmas, I bought my dad the DVD set Band of Brothers, and Harry took it home that day. My dad never even got to watch it.
He's like, where's that?
He's like, Dad won't, yeah, he won't watch that, probably. I can just see it. It's like,
So then I remember asking him, no, that's mine. I bought that.
That's a good way of getting it, because then you pass it by the wife. She okays it because it's a gift, right? You wrap it up, you take it, you have to get it open there, and then you just take it home. Oh, well, send it yours. That's funny.
Yeah.
Good series, though.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny, though, like, with albums, you know, because really, I was never a big Maiden fan, but Seventh Son of a Seventh Son does have, like, a little place in my heart. Probably because that's what Darren had, so it was always, you know, playing around the house and stuff, and, you know, and with Vin being such a fan, you know, I listened to a lot of their stuff, and I still think I like that as good as any, you know, so it's interesting now.
Let's think about this, because how old would Vin have been, like... Because I remember as a little kid, Vin would see like the Ozzy posters and the Priest posters in their rooms, right?
Ozzy
I
Osbourne.
think just as a little kid, how much that influenced, just the imagery influenced,
Me.
kind of forced him into
all of us.
convincing himself he loved the music.
Yeah.
Right?
Good point. Good
Well,
point.
I love the Maiden covers. I've always loved them.
Yeah.
A little Kiss for us, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, the posters.
Yeah, that's a good point, because Vince said all that stuff when he's little. He'd look at it and it scared him, some of it, you know. But he was, you know, intrigued. Yeah, wanted to, you know.
Like, I hadn't heard of Iron Maiden or anything by him because, like, you know, Dad didn't show me anything. And so when we were talking to Vin one time and everything about it, I'm like, oh, I haven't heard any. He ended up making me 2, like, burned CDs of, like, a bunch of songs from Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
So it's like, I have no clue what they're from. But I'm like, these are pretty awesome and stuff. It was just funny how soon he got on that. And he's like, also, here's a Judas Priest one. And he ended up making me a Judas Priest one, too.
Cool.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you ever, like, what is this song? He'll know it right away. Like maybe 8 songs in. What's the name of this song? He'll be able to tell you, and it's on this album.
Yeah.
He's pretty deep when it comes to Maiden.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I went to a few shows with him.
And Wasp, too. But you blew us away on the Wasp episode.
Ab schooled us, man.
She schooled it.
Yeah.
Wasp.
Wasp.
I don't know. I always want to, like, listen to more songs because it's like, we'll listen to, like, a couple songs from a band, and then I'll be like, well, is there more, though? Because, like, I love what this already is, but what if there's even more? And then I'll just go off and do that myself, and I'm like, this is awesome. One job, Dad. You had one job.
One job.
One job only. Hey, Empire. Now, I did buy that record. What do you guys think about it?
I bought it too. I bought that and Operation, you know, because I wanted to get into them, but it just...
I don't know.
I like Silent Lucidity.
I mean, I don't think it
I
stood up, but I liked it at the time.
Yeah.
I don't really listen to it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seemed compared to their other stuff, like
Much
more commercial and
sounding.
ready for the videos and all the things that were going on in that era. Just, I think there were some well-written songs. They were decent, but just was just not as authentic Queensryche as the previous stuff. So,
and the follow-up to Operation, right?
Yeah.
It is actually my next one on the list and everything.
Oh, you really like this one?
Yeah, the only two songs I like had trouble with were like Della Brown, and at the time it was Silent Lucidity, but just because it's like it didn't go with everything I thought Queensryche should be with like all the heaviness and stuff. Like some of their ballads and stuff like mixed into the songs, but that one was just more ballad-like, and I'm like, I don't know if I really like this, but I end up listening to it again. I'm like, no, this is pretty good, because I always catch myself singing like some of the song, and I'm like, okay, I can't really hate it if I'm singing it.
To me, it feels a lot like Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
This album?
That song, Silent Lucidity.
Yeah.
Got a big Pink Floyd vibe out of it.
Yeah.
It just wasn't super cohesive. Like, there's songs that were either like really rockin' and stuff, or then you had like really ballady stuff, or some of the songs like the chorus didn't feel like it went with like the rest of the song, or like the vocals didn't go with one part of the song. So then it'd like ruin it for me sometimes on these songs. Just didn't feel like it connected right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't the Black album that same year from Metallica?
Was that 90?
Metallica was 91. Because that was like Silent Lucidity was like their first ballad like that, wasn't it? Well, because even I Will Remember is slow, but it's not like that. It's not some kind of it's a different kind of vibe. Really cool. I like I Will Remember, But like Silent Lucidity reminds me of like Metallica, like Nothing Else Matters, something like that. It's like, whoa, you guys are really going down the ballad road on this one.
Yeah.
But
I mean, they had some slower songs and things, but nothing like that. Yeah, that was really more.
And they got a lot of radio play on this record too.
Definitely.
At least like 4 songs, right, all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, they had a bunch of videos off that one.
So then, Live Crime. They just put out a live album of that tour, I guess.
Yeah, they also have like a live video that you could buy of them like performing that with the music videos in the background and stuff. We got that. I remember watching that one time. Like, this is awesome. It's really cool. Because when it comes to listening to stuff, I'd rather listen to the CD than concerts, more or less. Sometimes the concerts are fun. I just like the quality on a CD compared to the quality of a concert.
Yeah, I get that. Studio.
But it was still, I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought it would.
What did you think of Faster Pussycat last night?
I thought it was good. I was at a point where I was really tired because I had put so much energy into like yelling and stuff, and I don't really yell. I'm really quiet most of the time. Yeah. So like yelling that much and like clapping and stuff, and I was kind of scared of everybody around me because like of how tankered up they were getting. I'm like
visiting day at the penitentiary.
I was like, oh no. Just because like the people we stay with and stuff, they'll get tankered up and they'll just repeat stuff to you, and you're just like stuck there. And I'm like, please shut up. I want to go to sleep. I'm tired. And so and then people are just running into you in there, and I'm just like super squished. I'm like, I'm sort of enjoying this. It was fun though. It just freaks me a little bit.
Yeah.
Freaking tankards, right?
Getting tankered up.
Tankered up. I love it.
I saw, some old guy. People were like sitting down on a chair. He was fucking hammered.
Oh.
Hammered.
Yeah.
Dude was probably like, I'd guess late 60s. Just fucking smashed alley.
Well, it's kind of interesting how it does go because we got there and then that first band started, so we saw all 3 bands and we went and watched all their sets.
Yeah,
and it was pretty mellow the first one. Started to progress. Time Faster Pussycat came on. It was everyone was loose around us, and in fact, one of the main guys next to Av was the guy with the Lizzie Borden shirt. So he kept trying to talk.
Old guy. The old guy.
Yeah, he kept trying to talk to Av during the whole thing.
I'm quiet, and if I'm trying to tell my dad something, I'll whisper like something into his ear trying to yell, but other than that, I'm not talking because my throat's just not going to get to that level. So that guy just kept looking at me. I'm like, I'm not talking to you. I'm sorry.
Band's playing too, right?
You got full volume right in front of you.
And it was loud.
Yeah.
It was like when they went on, it was really loud. We were kind of to the right of the stage, and the speakers were right there in our grill. It it was pretty loud. But you can tell about the other guys around us.
Cool.
Like right around when they were starting and stuff and getting into like their song, this guy in like a normal like business suit, like a gray business suit, comes up.
Yeah,
he was dancing like right in front of me.
Yeah.
He just kept trying to like look at me and talk to me too.
To watch the band. Oh, yeah. I mean, he was like dancing.
Yeah.
He was breaking it down.
Some rug.
He wasn't too tankard.
I think he was sober.
Was he?
I don't know.
He had a drink and then like he turned to me, he was like, gotta get a refill, and then he never came back.
Okay. All right.
The Lizzie Borden guy asked, he's like, where'd that suit guy go? I'm like, I just like showed like with my hand that he went to get a drink. He just never returned.
I was in heaven. It was Skull Alley there last night.
Oh yeah, there was some wicked skulls.
Wild side shirt.
Bird watching some Skull.
Is that the one kind of blonde hair
and then
the long bangs too, but just skull in it?
Oh, Shitsville.
That was wicked.
Crypt Keeper competition. So it was.
There was a couple, weren't there?
Yeah.
I'll have to show you guys some pictures because when we shaved Av's head, like it was in a pretty long mohawk.
Yeah.
But I combed it all down and then I combed out. I shaved out the horseshoe and we did a comb over on her.
Oh,
yeah. I got pictures of it.
Oh.
So we got some funny photos. Like we were just goofing with it since we were doing it.
Amazing.
Yeah, I told her we should try to do a skull. So maybe down the road,
that'd be really cool.
Find a way to thin it out real good on top and then comb it so you can see all the scalp.
I can't stop thinking about a helicopter pilot going, where am I going to land? You know what I mean? When I'm looking out, like, there's a pod right there. See it, I'm like, it's landed in the brush, you know. Love Skullets, dude. But yeah, so Promised Land, I kind of dropped off. I'm not too familiar after that.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard a Queensryche song since Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's mostly where I stopped around was like after like Operation Mindcrime 2 and the Empire. I just kind of, we didn't really get any more albums or anything, so I didn't listen to them for a long time, and I tried to get into them a while back, and like I don't remember which album it was, but they started with a baby crying, and I'm like, okay, this isn't what I wanted.
No.
I know. I'm like, it worked for Wasp in my opinion, but not for Queens. I'm like, well, that's a double standard.
Was Here in the Now Frontier after Promised Land?
Yes.
I believe so.
I
yeah.
did hear a couple songs off that, and one I thought was pretty fucking cool. It was in a...
Was it?
I think it was like in 7/4. It's like a weird time signature.
Oh, that's cool.
Sign of the Times, maybe?
Nice.
All right.
That album fucking tanked.
Did it?
Yeah, Jeff talked about that on that podcast, just how...
No support.
I guess that was Chris DeGarmo's real big. He really pushed for the direction they went on that record and tanked, and he bailed.
And then he left after this.
Yeah.
And they were still signed to EMI, too. Still a pretty big record deal. They probably weren't happy about that. Yeah, I haven't heard this record at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I just was looking through some of them.
Q2K.
That one's on my like least favorite of all their albums.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah, which was hard because like it was just lower than Take Cover, which is an entire album of just cover songs that they did.
Oh.
So
Did they have a 2-guitar situation for that?
Yeah, they had a little bit of a rotating...
They had just different guys coming in.
Yeah. I remember they had a dude, Kelly Gray, come in for a while, who is a record producer.
Oh, okay, here he is.
So...
He's a guitar player, too?
Yeah. But he's not like a real technical guy, so he really kind of changed their vibe.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So...
Yeah, that was Q2K. Tribe?
Liked about half of their songs. Like this split down the middle 50-50 on that. Like after those I didn't have like a personal connection with songs, but like I ended up listening to them like, oh, these are pretty good and stuff, and we ended up learning about the psychology of music a little bit in one of my science classes, and they're like talking about like if you're gonna have like a good attitude about it or something, you're probably gonna like the song. And so for half the time when I was listening to these, like they got way higher like enjoyability rates in my opinion, because I'm like, this might be a good song, and then like my brain kind of was like, it's gonna be a good song. So then I was like listening to it, I'm like, this is a good song. But so for the rest of them, they had pretty good songs. Some of them didn't feel like cohesive wholes, or vocals didn't go where I wanted them to go. You know, if like, oh, he should have went up higher, or he should have went lower and stuff when he did the opposite. it was more or less like things like that. So as we go like later on and stuff in these albums, that's just kind of the things that would like kind of taper me off of them. I'm like, could have been better, but
okay. What did you think of Mindcrime 2?
it was pretty good. I think I only liked, like, I didn't like one song off of there, but overall it was cool because he ended up having like a resolution to the first Operation Mindcrime, because, you know, he's kind of like in jail at this point, and like he gets out in this album. He goes to stop like the guy that kind of hypnotized him and everything, because, you know, his girl got killed and stuff, and he ends up killing that guy.
The guy who hypnotized him is Scoutmaster.
Oh. Oh my gosh.
And that's what scouting's all about.
Yeah, hypnotizing. Yeah.
Dale Hartford. Yeah.
Dale Hartford.
Hartford's that year?
Well, no, we growing up, and there's a dude in our ward who did all the scout events after, and you know, this is what scouting's all about. Whether it was the Pinewood Derby or
Camp Safula Malatasi, whatever.
yeah,
Molotov.
make a honey hole.
Yeah. So whatever it was, like, you know, he said that on every scouting event. You know, to me, this is what scouting's all about. So, you know, like Ren said, it'd be the Pinewood Derby, you'd say that, or camp, or doing a merit badge. I don't know.
Yeah, issuing a merit badge or whatever. Yeah.
Scouting's all about.
Did you do scouting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, do you remember that? Camp Safula Malatasi?
I do now that you say it.
I
Yeah.
don't even know what the hell that means, but
I think that was the name of the area or
it
something.
must have been.
Maybe like Native American or something. I think we had like Tracy Wigwam.
Tracy Wigwam.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's the scout up the canyon camp.
Did they hand out free wampum when you got there?
Probably.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, scouting was fun.
No, when Vin worked at Little Caesars.
Oh, that's a funny story. When Ben was managing Little Caesars, you know, because our folks pretty much, they kind of pushed the scouting program.
Yeah.
You know, and I think Harry's the only one that became an Eagle Scout.
I got right there close. I just didn't do my final
what I got.
project.
Yeah, I think I had you had citizenship in the community.
Did you guys have the lapel?
Oh yeah, your badges.
Yeah.
I think the citizenship ones are the ones that kept most of us from not getting it. But by the time it got to Vin, they were still pushing it, and he just, you know, he liked to go hang out with his friends and that kind of shit for scouting. But that was all he took out of it. But he when he became manager of Little Caesars Pizza, he'd get these. Well, he remembered also our parents saying that if you had that on a job resume that you were an Eagle Scout.
Between you and this other guy, and one of you is an Eagle Scout and one's not, the Eagle Scout's going to get the job.
Yeah.
So when Ben would get a resume, you know, or an application resume, and someone had Eagle Scout, he just crumpled that shit up and threw it in the garbage can instantly. He had to prove the folks wrong that, no, sir, if I got 2 applications, that one's going in the fucking trash.
No one had an idea that was working against them.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
The kid put that on there.
They thought they were a shoo-in.
Yeah, I'm an Eagle Scout. Put that shit at the top. It ended up in the garbage of the dumpster.
Must have been another Eagle Scout that got the job.
Yeah.
I love that story.
Wasn't there another level beyond Eagle Scout? Wasn't there like some other program you could go into? I don't remember it anyway. That's funny though. I didn't get I didn't do my project. So
I had to, because you had to do your big project, right? And I remember I submitted a thing. It was to make a better sign for City of Rocks. Because it's just been this shitty fucking rundown sign forever. I don't know if they've updated it since this, but my plan got turned down.
What?
I was like, fuck you guys, I'm out.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah, because some other dude got his, and he painted like bobcat prints, big bobcat prints in front of the high school. They approved his. Oh, that's great. I'm like,
Who's making these?
no shit. Oh, the short-haired kid gets it, but the guy with the mullet doesn't? Judging my long hair?
Long hair wins.
Well, it was long in the back.
Long
Be
enough.
your best self.
How many decisions did we make over that little piece of hair that was hanging down back there?
Yeah.
You probably need a haircut.
Do you remember when
I
dudes?
quit.
Do you remember when dudes would finally get it to their mouth?
Oh, yeah.
That was like
this guy.
a real accomplishment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
about you looking in the mirror, like this?
Yeah.
Over the collar. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Getting
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, I used to do that.
Back there.
It's getting there.
I used to do that. I'd we had those mirrors that would fold out or whatever, so you can turn back to your back to the mirror. You kind of tilt your neck back.
back.
You pull your pants up so you close the gap on how long it is. Make it look a little longer.
All the tricks.
Yeah.
It's funny.
So, we're talking about this because of Jeff Tate's time with the Scouts, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember. I don't know how to bring it back. I don't either.
Oh, it was the guy who hypnotized the character, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
hypnotized
Mindcrime
Nikki.
too.
Right.
This was It's funny because he ends up taking care of that guy and getting rid of him, but he's like, but my life's kind of purposeless now, and so he ends up killing himself and everything. And like the last song, he's like, I don't know, he's in some kind of spirit plane with, Mary, and they're together again. And you're like, I guess this is happy. I mean, you're both dead.
Purgatory.
There you go.
Purgatory nice and happy.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, I guess this is happy. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't hear that one either. Then there was Take Cover,
Which was a covers record. What are the songs on there?
Welcome to the Machine, Pink Floyd, Heaven on Their Minds, Almost Got My Hair, What For What It's Worth, For the Love of Money, Innuendo, Neon Nights, Black Sabbath probably, right?
Yeah.
Synchronicity 2, The Police,
Okay.
Red Rain, don't know. Odysseus,
Odysseus was a really good one.
Bullet the Blue Sky, U2.
Yeah, like my 3 favorites on that were Heaven on Their Minds, Odysseus, and Bullet the Blue Sky.
I should have pulled this up. Odysseus was written by Carlo Morale.
Yeah, because it's not in English, but his voice goes so good with it. Like, I was listening to it. It kind of sounded like operatic and stuff. I'm like, this is really cool, because his voice is kind of made almost for that.
Yeah,
So I'm like, this worked really well. Out of all the cover songs, this is the one that was my favorite one.
And
So-
Red Rain is written by Peter Gabriel. Innuendo is it's
Queen,
Queen.
which threw me. I'm like, whoa.
That's a weird mix. Yeah, if you think about all the artists on there that they covered.
Sure, man.
Pretty odd mix.
David Crosby on Almost Cut My Hair, so it must be Crosby, Stills, and Nash, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah.
Heaven on Their Mind is Andrew Lloyd Webber. Not familiar with that one.
Me neither.
Yeah.
So I didn't. Let's see. At that point, it looks like they have this Mike Stone
Playing
in
guitar?
there. Yeah.
Okay.
He was on the last one too.
Then they got some kid who I think is still with them.
Parker.
Parker?
Yeah.
He was married to Jeff Tate's
Oh,
stepdaughter.
he was.
Whoa.
I didn't
And he
know
looks
that.
like a punk rock kid. He's all
He does.
tattooed
He's
and
cool looking.
shit.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, the band split. That kid divorced the girl.
Jeez
Yeah, it
Louise.
was the whole
He's still in there.
double drama thing.
He's still in there though.
Yeah, yeah.
One of the controversies was like,
that was Jeff Tate's, huh? So now they have a different singer, so he doesn't have to worry. He can
Right.
be in that band.
Yeah.
yeah.
What was that?
Oh, I was just saying, like, one of the controversies, like, and, like, one of the problems that they were citing was that, like, Geoff Tate had a lot of family members, like, kind of somewhat intertwined with the band and, like, their
Yeah.
job stuff, and so they were getting kind of angry.
Oh, no.
Yeah, stuff like that.
I have no idea.
I didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was hard at the time because I'm like, I love Geoff Tate so much, but I don't know what's going on in that whole thing when I was, like, finding out they split and stuff. I'm like, this is horrible.
Yeah, I think
I felt bad
just
for
a
him.
lot of weird dysfunction. Because plus now Scott Rockenfield's been listed as a band member, but he hasn't performed with them or done anything or been on the last record or two in 3 or 4 years.
Dang.
Yeah.
And he just came out and said something like, "Pretty soon I'm going to let the truth be known of what's really happened."
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like, what?
I didn't know.
Well, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Huh?
Real bandmates of the.
I hope it's just like, I hope it's just like a book like, what was it, Paul Stanley, where he's wrecking everybody? I just want it to be a book like that where he ends up wrecking everybody.
Paul Stanley, like Paul Stanley.
I want it to be like that, just because that was so funny when we were listening to it. He just wrecked everybody.
He did. He didn't
Yeah,
have
he
one
did.
good thing to say, did he?
Yeah.
No, it was funny.
Maybe they could do a book too, and Paul could read that one.
That would be awesome.
Audio.
Man.
Interesting. Yeah, Parker Lundgren. Michael Wilton. They got the drummer from last time saw him. They had the drummer from some other progressive band. Damn, I can't think of his name. It was anyway. I'll look it up here. But yeah. So you said The Verdict. That was another one you liked a lot.
Yeah, it was just at a time where I would like listen to it as I walked home at night. Like, I used to get up at like 6 in the morning and work in this one art studio until like 11:30 at night, consistently for a lot of days at one of my semesters and stuff, just because it was fun and I'd listen to stuff. But by the time I'm walking home, it's a 30-minute walk from there to my home. It's pitch black and there's like a couple street lights, but other than that, you're like, oh, this is terrifying. And so it's like I'm walking home, like I need something to like calm me down. So I would listen to that album like almost every night and everything. And I got into it and I was like dancing around. People would honk at me because there's still people driving out that late. Yeah. But it was fun.
So Todd Lasore played drums on that record.
Oh wow.
And sang.
Dang.
Yeah, I didn't know he.
Yeah, I guess he's killed.
I saw him play with Stryper one time live.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like Soldiers Under Command. I was like, oh, I didn't know he could drum. But you know, wow.
I think that's my one downfall. It's like I know songs and I know albums I like. When it comes to the players in it, I'm like I cannot remember any of that. Yeah. It's gone from my mind.
Yeah, I know some, but this guy over
as
here,
kids, I mean, we would get the cassette. You'd get the cassette and you'd pull the sleeve out, and you would just read everything multiple. I mean, you just
Nice.
That's basically why we have this podcast, right?
Tony Richards.
We were those fucking nerds.
Yeah, it always goes back to Tony Richards too, right?
yeah. Roots in that Tony Richards.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool to know that he does both. Oh, and that Zeus guy. Okay, he produced it. So I guess we're gonna find out the truth, right?
Interesting. Wonder, yeah.
I guess.
Whatever that is.
Whatever it may be.
It'll probably fall flat on its face. No one will care.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder if he's going to kind of flip sides. You know?
Maybe.
He kind of went with the majority, maybe. I mean, speculation. It'll be interesting. That'd be interesting to see what his take on it is. And
for sure.
Interesting. Something to look forward to.
I'm still trying to lock down I had their vinyl, but I sold it. I still want to get the EP and the Warning at least.
Yeah.
Rage is too much dough.
Too much money.
Yeah.
Are the first two a little easier to get?
Little, yeah. Closer. They're down. Yeah. And who knows? Maybe they'll reissue more once Mindcrime comes out and they sell a little bit. You know.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like there's money to be made there. I mean, why wouldn't you? You know, vinyl's become so big again.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, then there's probably battles that come with that, right? Reissues.
Yeah.
Well, I guess usually not. Usually the band doesn't have much say in it. So.
Wasn't that a blast watching Sebastian do his own review?
It's kind of painful.
Was it?
Well, it kind of was, you know, because as much as I kind of can't stand
you don't
Sebastian,
like him, that's right.
I kind of felt bad for him because there's nobody that cares more.
Then that's a good point.
Guy, you know,
he really cares, and his dad's painting was on the cover, and just these people just came in and just Scott quota ill.
No, Dave end quote, the snake end quote.
You guys should watch that. I'll send you the link.
Okay.
Just these typos in the new reissue, just because you know, Dave Sabo, Snake Sabo. It's supposed to say Dave, and then the snake's in quotations.
Right.
It says Dave, and then the words in quotations, the snake in quotations.
Oh my God.
Literal, yeah.
And it's in this huge print. It's like
there's just these people reissuing vinyls, but they don't go back and buy it because a lot of these masters, these bands masters, the label owns, and they're just in the basement, and you can't get at them. We talked about this on an older episode because Tim Skold talked about it. Like they'll sell it to you in a package deal, but you got to buy all this other junk, other artists. You got to buy it in a lot.
Oh wow!
Amount of money. You can't just buy the one title from. So a lot of people now are just taking the CD image and sending it to the press, and so it's basically the CD, but it's just on vinyl.
Yeah.
So it's not the same as mixing it for vinyl.
So it doesn't sound terrible. Usually, it just sounds like a CD quality recording, which is in a lot of cases pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then this guy doesn't know anything about obviously making sure that the gatefold it had a gatefold and everything. But like the guy's name, it was Scott on this side and Scotty over
on
here,
the other
right?
side.
And then just didn't Didn't have an editor. Didn't have somebody going through going, oh, dude, typos all over.
Right. Oh, wow.
So and then we watched Sebastian just going through it and looking at all this, and he A/B's it. He puts that one on, listens to it on his stereo, and then he has the original.
Interesting.
It's pretty fun watch.
And you could hear it even just on iPhone quality, recording.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to send us that link.
Okay.
That link.
Yeah.
I'd like to check that out.
Yeah.
But he said, of course, they didn't know. Nobody talked to him. Nobody called
contacted
him.
him.
He didn't know anything about it. And there's some other producer of the vinyl, and he said, I don't know who this guy is.
Yeah.
So you're right. It's painful.
It was,
But he makes it very lighthearted. Like,
he tries to, but you can see him.
There's some pain.
yeah, you're right. You're right.
I mean, I always hate to see that. Some of these bands are just, so great, and then I guess it's like a marriage. Some of the splits are not that big a deal. I mean, there's not a bunch of hostility, and then others, man, they're just fed up with each other. So
and then people taking your music and just putting it out there and making money on it, and you don't see any of it.
Yeah.
And a lot of those bands, I mean, they don't have lawyers and stuff or labels representing them anymore. So
Right.
It's nobody really ponying up to have somebody chase them.
Right.
So nothing happens. I imagine Skid Row could. I imagine they've got some guys. But he didn't ever say anything about doing that. He just was like... So... But yeah, your masterpiece record, people are out there copying it, selling it.
So that makes me think, if people are just out there like this, whoever this kid is who decided to reissue Slave to the Grind, what's to stop Sebastian from doing one?
Good point. That's a good point.
Or the other side of the camp from doing one.
Yeah. If there's no one to chase him.
If it's your band, it was your record.
Yeah. Why shouldn't it?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
they were on Atlantic.
Because they're never doing big runs. Like, what did they say? They did a couple thousand of the Slave to the Grind?
Yeah, and those probably still sell well. They're not in print, though.
I don't know.
You'd think Atlantic would go after that,
But is it worth it if it's only like 3,000 records?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Does anybody care anymore?
Or why isn't Atlantic doing it?
Yeah, why
aren't they fucking doing a big...
That's the real point. They got all the money.
Do a double vinyl with some extras, demos, a package that makes it...
The music industry seems to be so late. They're like George Lynch.
Yeah.
They're like 10 years past, and they're coming in with the Affliction shirt. But you know what I mean? The music, like, look at the MP3 things. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to affect us.
Just gonna
Writing's on the wall, guys.
Yeah.
Everything's changing. Get out of here.
Yeah.
10 years later, MP3's ruined us. We have to change our whole business model. Yeah, I should have been on that, dude.
Yeah.
Too late. Too late. You missed that boat.
So maybe that's part of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they got bigger fish to fry. They're making too much dough on one of the other giant artists on that label.
Yeah, I imagine that is probably why. But it's like Ren said. It's like, shit. They can do all kinds of things with it. They got all the money, too. Why aren't they doing that?
Yeah. Or if they did it, would Atlantic come after them? Because, and it's just faceless, nameless guy they don't even know. I mean,
they're like
they don't even really see
They're
it.
like, he's probably got no money to try and squeeze out.
Right.
That's the point.
And it's already done and out.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. Because the same thing, I'm a fan of Saigon Kick, and I'm friends with the singer on Facebook, and he did the same thing when there was that reissue of their debut record on vinyl. He's like, nobody contacted me. I won't see a penny for this.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
That does suck. 'Cause
we're taking this episode into the darkest depths.
I mean, those are like your babies, too, as a musician. And
so many memories.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know how we got on that either. No vinyl reissues. Yeah.
Tangents.
Some artists have been smart and purchased their masters or got them back. Yeah. But you got to be pretty, like Metallica got theirs back, but they're behemoths. You don't need it.
Motley got theirs back. Yeah.
Motley got theirs back.
Nice.
So now they're in complete control. They can do with whatever they want.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times, especially from the 80s, that stuff that's on tape, pre-digital, it degrades.
Yeah.
And it's going to fall apart. You need to get it into the hard drive,
Right.
with that time. So much like old film,
Yeah.
16 and 30,
Yeah.
35. So, but yeah. So I'm going to chase those. I'll get the EP and that. Still, I'm listening to those, of course. Yeah. Any last thoughts on Queensryche? Feels like we're running out of gas.
Av, do you follow any of Jeff Tate's later stuff?
No, but that's also like his later. I thought you meant on social media.
Oh no, I mean
No,
any of
just
his
this.
like releases.
I checked out his solo albums. Like I went really into this. So I checked out his solo albums. I checked out his band Operation Mindcrime and everything. Because after the whole settlement and everything, he lost the name, but he was able to play all the songs on Operation Mindcrime. He got to keep that name, so he ended up making his band called that.
Yeah.
And they ended up doing a concept album, but it was like a trilogy of them.
Oh.
They're okay.
Yeah.
They're okay. It just, the story is a lot of like really confusing. Like the basic idea I get is that there's some key or USB that can control the world, and this guy gets it, which it's Jeff Tate. That's really it. That's all I know though on it. And
Okay.
you got 3 of these albums, and that's all I can talk on it. And it's like, that's sad.
Guys, we might want to flesh out those details of the
Ideas.
story a little better next time.
One of his new bandmates ends up singing one of the songs. I'm like, this isn't what I wanted. I wanted you singing it. There's a reason you're the singer of this band. But I think one of the interesting things going back is like Frequency Unknown was when he was singing, but he had a whole new band, but it was still in the middle of the whole debate with the name thing.
Split,
Yeah, and you can hear a lot of like him kind of lamenting what's happened in the songs. Because a lot of it's about relationships and stuff. Like some of the best songs on there, are like, let me get to my thing.
Yeah, I think about, if you think about if you're in their shoes, and you look at the trajectory of their career, and they're on the, after Empire, it was all pretty much kind of
Yes.
coming down. And so obviously you've got diminishing returns. And then you start splitting that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
And the future of music. I mean,
Yeah.
changing and just
Yeah.
pulling the rug out.
That whole
under
side
them.
of it too. Yeah.
It's like, what do we do now?
yeah,
Now I
like
have
2
to
of
sell
the
my own branded wine.
Yeah. And
I mean, Faster Pussycat had wine there on their wine label.
Yeah.
The Body Thief, red wine. Yeah.
that's what they make.
I was wondering why that was on the
I'm
table.
sure it's just like a
Somebody
private
does.
label
They just-
thing
yeah.
where
They relabel it.
Yeah.
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 And it says a lot for chemistry too. The band, like
Yeah, absolutely.
splitting the members up. And,
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
It's just not the same. It's really
Right.
weird.
No, like 2 of his songs, like Life Without You and Everything's like are really about like wishing things could go back to how they were, and like the last song of the album is called The Weight of the World, and it's pretty tragic. It's a really great song, but it's just like you can really feel that sadness in that album. Like there's a lot of hard, like there's some angry moments in some of the songs, and you can feel that, but like you end on a sad note. It's kind of crazy.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
I think in any type of entertainment industry too, like, it's got to be really tough, like being on top, and actually making it, and then, when it finally hits that wall and you're on the big time decline. I mean, and a lot of times, these people are young still,
Yeah.
a lot of times in the entertainment or industry, and I don't know. I think that, that's got to be tough.
Yeah.
Real tough.
And so you guys are totally putting into perspective I'm just looking at the ascent here. Warning, Rage, they're just building, Operation. I mean, just
Yeah, they're really peaking.
yeah, they just had the most. That's it. Their
Which
career
I
was-
kind of assumed that would be the peak. I feel like Empire still went even,
Well, that's
probably
where I was
sold even
going.
higher, right?
That's where I was going.
I think so, yeah.
Empire, right?
Yeah. So they
Comes
probably
out. thought,
thought,
now they have the radio, because on the
Yeah.
other album they got all the core fans, the diehards.
Yes.
Now they're going to get the radio, so they're taking it over. And it's 1990.
Yeah.
I mean, clock's ticking. It's over. One more year, like they're out on tour, right?
yeah.
Then just people slowly start not showing up.
Yeah. Boy, Jeff talked about that on that
New Game
on
in
that
Town, did he?
podcast too. Yeah, he said all of a sudden, tickets weren't selling.
I mean, it just dropped.
Record wasn't selling. Labels panicking.
Yeah.
Band starts to panic, It's like shit,
I still wonder how it changed so much like that, because like
can't believe it either.
you
So
have like the
fast.
hardcore fans, you still have to have people like that kind of music. I know with the shift and all the Seattle and grunge, like how did that actually even happen? Like how did it just fall off the
I blame
earth?
Firehouse.
I'll go with that. I'll go with that.
Everyone's like, "Fuck this."
No, there, you know,
They're definitely key.
that may be part of it. There was a lot of, I mean, they signed about any band that looked like they
Yes.
fit into that category. But still, I mean,
But like these guys really weren't doing that.
They weren't.
But they
paid
paid
their
the
own.
price.
They had their,
But they paid the
yeah,
price.
Yeah.
They did pay the price because they definitely had their own thing going on.
yeah,
Yeah.
You're not going to confuse them for LA Guns or
right,
True. So
right.
But they got lumped in.
They did, 'cause
they
they had long
also
hair.
were in that market too,
Yeah.
using that. You know, so
Yeah.
it's a wild time. It was really weird. the way
Yeah,
Really
yeah. I still think about that a lot, and just wonder like where'd all the rock fans go?
well, they got older and they stopped buying records. They stopped going to shows.
It's gotta
They
be-
were having families.
I was going to say it's got to be some kind
Suddenly
of
you got two little kids at home, and it's like I'm not going to go see them on a Wednesday night.
yeah. That really probably has to be the demographic
You
of
know.
what happened, because it's like
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I guess I fell into that too,
Yeah.
some ways. You know.
Yeah.
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 I think of my the amount of shows I saw in my 20s versus my 30s. It was a big decline. You know, I don't even have kids.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
working and living life.
It did have a good run though. I mean, it had a great run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of cool things, but it's just weird on
Yeah.
other bands that were like this, that had that span of, I guess, almost 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Well, them playing for sure 10 years,
Right.
up until 90. So, yeah, I mean, that's still a great accomplishment. All those records
Absolutely.
in that time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great accomplishment to still be doing it, even though they've split.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a great accomplishment. But at the same time, it's like, well, do they have other options? I mean, maybe it's like, well, this is all I can do. You know?
You do what you can do, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I saw them on the casino circuit out of Jackpot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was kind of cool at the first time that I was there because they went back to more of the black and they played mostly stuff off the EP and the Warning. And the sound, I couldn't believe it. I swear it felt like 84.
Wow.
They just played that same way. It sounded the same. It's all the same guys except for Jeff wasn't there.
Yeah.
Just Todd. But it was killer. They were good.
Wow.
Was DeGarmo wouldn't have been with them either, right?
Yeah, he was. No, not good guys. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was Parker.
Okay.
Not DeGarmo wasn't there.
Well, they sounded killer. Huh?
Yeah, they really did.
Av, have you ever seen them live?
No, they've.
Got to change that.
I know you guys were talking about how he's coming here to Utah
Yeah,
and stuff. Jeff Tate is.
Geoff Tate's
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
to the depot
Yeah.
I
in
didn't know
November. Yeah.
Because I remember us talking about how he came a while back too and everything. I was talking to Dad about it. Remember, it was some other place, but we didn't go to that
she
either.
wasn't old enough to go. You know, she was, that was the one thing. Of, you go almost anywhere else. You know,
Yeah.
you get in all ages. They'll just tell you whether you're old enough or not to.
Either I wasn't alive or I'm not old enough. It was one of the two.
Right.
We're all my favorite bands.
Yeah. Because what year were you born?
99.
99.
Yeah.
Shit the bed. Wow, man.
Yeah, if she lives to 100, she'll lived in three
centuries.
centuries.
Wow. Yeah, it was cool. We had a club here to Deviate. Remember Deviate?
Yeah.
They would split when that. So the floor was all ages. They do that a lot, and then you'd go upstairs to the bar.
Yeah.
So everybody could go. So that was cool. You know?
Yeah, I mean, because like I say, like when I lived in L.A., shit, Nate came out when he was in the 8th grade, and I took him to the Whiskey A Go-Go, So
He could get in.
Oh, yeah.
All ages. Oh, much more.
Yeah, they
Okay.
just pretty much either stamp you that you were 21 or you weren't, and
Oh yeah.
you couldn't drink, So, but I'm sure a lot of that has to do with liquor laws here and things like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then Evelyn turned 21 on January 2020, so looking forward to seeing some shows, going to some comedy.
No. Now
But
though.
it's opening up again. So.
Now though.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
gotta wait one more year, and then now we're here.
Yep. 5 months before I head out on a mission. We got to make the most of it, too.
Oh, yeah, that's right. 5 months.
Probably be pretty limited then.
Wait, what? You're going on a mission?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, that's why I got this
When do
shaped
you
down. So
submit all your paperwork?
I'm going to start working on them pretty soon. I graduate in July, and then I'm just going to work on that more or less, study up, and then just try to head out the first of the year.
Wow.
So
Cool.
put it off way long enough.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yep. Maybe by the time she gets back, metal will resurge. But, going back to that discussion, it was kind of interesting, like, I don't know, maybe the problem is, because, at our ages, like, if we want shit, we'll go see it, we'll buy it, whatever. You get to that kind of middle age, and it's like, you got money,
Yeah.
and, but do a bunch of new bands and young kids want to be, that's their not their target audience, I guess.
Right.
Because I just wondered why it hasn't kind of made some kind of resurgence, but.
Yeah.
Hello.
Thanks. How's it going, guys?
Good. How are you?
Hi.
Hi.
Steph?
stranger.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Steph?
Should we wrap this up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
All right, man.
Okay.
Queensryche.
Episode 34.
Yeah.